All right, we got Guggenheimer coming on the podcast. Collin Guggenheim, motherfucker made history in Death Valley just about a month ago. We excited to talk to him. Local legend. Boy eats, sleeps, and breathes football. I'm telling you, this motherfucker was eating footballs for breakfast when he was a kid. So let's bring him on, man. I know it's been a while. I'd apologize, but I've been having a lot of shit going on. So just glad to be back doing the RYB Podcast. Let's get this thing cooking. I can't even throw bread at the duck switch. Oh, God, brother. Do we have an answer for Guggenheim? Bro, first of all, what a fucking night that was. That's a night I won't forget. I know you won't forget it. And I was just sitting in my room watching it on a laptop. So it was fucking crazy, man. But we glad to have you on, bro. We want to talk about your whole life, dude.
Yeah.
You cool with that?
That's awesome, man. Yeah. Whatever works for y'all, man. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it all, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
So before we get into that night, because that, like I said, that was just spectacular. That was one of them times where, I don't know, man, you just watching football and you're like, man, this dude just took over. Yeah. It didn't matter who you're talking about. That night you took over. Tell us about like your life, man. Like growing up as a kid, like were you just always playing football, obsessed with football? Like what were you doing as a kid growing up?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, kind of all started, I think it had to be when I was 6 years old.
Okay.
I mean, kind of growing up, my dad went to Curtis and all, so like I was always at Curtis games, watching the games and all. So it's just kind of like 6 years old, first time you could play tackle football, let's do it. And so it's kind of funny though, because when my first year playing football, I played center and linebacker.
Okay.
Didn't even think about touching the football. I mean, I did snapping the ball, but I wasn't running the ball or nothing. And then after that, it kind of just took off, kind of played quarterback growing up. And then
So as a kid, you were playing center and linebacker?
Center. My first year ever playing football, I played center, and then I started at linebacker.
So what was it? They just like, hey, man, he make a good center?
Dude, basically. So I went out for quarterback, and coach was like, hey, look, no offense, but we got a guy better than you. And I'm like, well, I really don't want to sit the bench, so how can I get on the field?
Yeah.
And he was just like, dude, you could snap for us. And I was like, I guess. I mean, I'll snap, shoot if that means I get on the field. So I just snapped, and then he's like, well, you definitely are a linebacker, but I was like, well, I want to play both. I'm 6 years old. Like, I got enough energy. Like, I give you the 5-minute quarters. I mean, so that's kind of how it happened. And then the next year, obviously, everybody moves up an age. So it was my time to play quarterback. And after that, we rolled with it. And then my coach, when I was 8, was Torrance Small. He played receiver for the New Orleans.
Small. Yeah.
He
Saint.
The Saint. Yeah. Played receiver for the Saints. We running spread 4 wide at 8 years old, slinging that thing.
Jesus.
So after that, it all just kind of took off.
Torrance Small was on them teams with Keith Poole and shit? Mm-hmm. Was that like in the late 90s?
So. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trying to like picture that. It definitely sounds familiar.
Play receiver for him. So he came into the park. He's like, dude, we're going to spread it out. So we're running 4 wide, throwing 4 verts every other play, just letting it go. And it was cool, man. We had some athletes around me, and I did that till I was, probably about 12.
Yeah. Were you a big kid growing up? Or
I wasn't. I was probably your average, short guy who played football.
Yeah.
And then I really didn't hit my growth spurt till 7th grade. That's when I really blew up. Going into my 7th grade year at Curtis, I grew probably like 5 inches and gained like 50 pounds.
That's incredible.
Everybody thought I was on roids the next year. It was crazy.
That is incredible.
And then after that, I never grew again.
Yeah, because nobody in my family's ever grew like that quickly.
It happened quick. I just grew over the summer, and then I wish I would have kept growing, but I'm glad I didn't, because if I did, I probably wouldn't be a Nicholls. So,
well, there's something to you being the size that you are and still being so good. You know what I'm saying? So there's something to that, too. It's not like all is lost. Sure. No, but so... All right, once you started growing in 7th grade, dude, from what I've seen, and look, I told you on the internet, I was asleep. I'm 32, dude. I can't keep up with everything. Right. So I was just asleep. I didn't even know that you went to John Curtis, nothing, none of that. So that night, when you played LSU, that was the first time I saw Guggenheim. Yeah. And I say Guggenheim because, bro, it was like an atomic bomb went off, dude. It was an explosion. So from what I've seen from 8th grade on, bro, you have just been hooping.
Yeah, I got really lucky, man. I got put in a good spot at Curtis. It was kind of unique because usually Curtis is one of those schools where you go there, freshman year, sophomore year, you kind of sit out, kind of learn the ropes, and then, hey, let's get you ready for your junior year. Let's play. I got put in a good spot because so my 7th grade year, that spring football season, Coach JT put me in his office like, hey, look, we're going to bump you up at varsity. So this is while I'm in 7th grade still, going into my 8th grade year.
Because you would be playing like JV.
Correct. Yeah. So before the LHSA changed all the rules and all, that 7th grade year, that spring, I started the game, our spring game, when we went against each other as a 7th grader for varsity. So I was rolling with varsity, and then I was fighting for a starting job. And then when I hit my 8th grade year, I was playing 8th grade football, 9th grade football, JV, and dressing out varsity games. So I had like a 5-game week every week. How does that work though? Like if you play in varsity in 7th and 8th grade. So before when I was still in high school, you could play up to 5 years varsity. That's how that works with the LHSA. Okay. Now they make you declare. So, like, if you're in 8th grade and they want to bring you up at, like, some small schools do it, like 1A schools, if you're 8th grade, you got to say, hey, I'm playing varsity. Okay. And you can't play the 8th grade stuff. But when I was in high school, they didn't have all that stuff. Right. So you were able to play them both. Yeah, I was going to 8th grade practice, going to varsity practice. And it was cool, man, because I got to experience that at a super young age. Yeah. And, look, Coach JT did the right thing. I mean, I wasn't ready to start as an 8th grader. I mean, I'm still growing. I'm still learning a lot of different things. And he did a really good job of just preparing me. So that way, by the time it was my freshman year, I took it off and we went rolling. And then my first ever game, which was surreal, we playing at Musperlino Playground. Anybody knows Curtis, that's like a sacred stadium for them. That's their spot. And we playing against Landry Walker. I don't remember like the Keaton Thompsons of the world and the Tevin Bushes. Tevin Bush, all those guys. First ever game, we're in a 2-hour rain delay, and the band is just playing. We got 100 deep, just letting us have it. And I'm a freshman, like, oh damn, like here we go. So that was just cool to kind of get my feet wet and get my first, I guess varsity action against those guys. So you've been messing with that offense since then? Oh, since I was in 5th grade. That's why you so good at that offense. Yeah, you've seen it. Before you pulled up, we had your high school highlights on. Mm-hmm. So basically, we was like, all right, we started with your freshman year because my senior year, I played at Holy Cross. So my 2018 year, I remember you. He's closest to you. I know, exactly. So when I seen you on the Nicholls thing, I'm like, Guggenheim. I'm like, ain't no way that's the same dude I was running the beer T-bone offense at John Curtis back in the day. So we pulled your highlights up. He was like, damn, he's been doing the same thing. Yeah, basically like 5, 6, 7 years at this point. Yeah. So the way Curtis did was awesome. So I went there in 5th grade. So for our PE, don't tell me they give you the playbook in 5th grade. Oh, it's the exact same play. That's crazy. So for real, that's crazy. So we run verbatim the plays for varsity. We run in 5th grade, and that's the best part about it. So like most kids in 5th grade, oh man, we get to go to PE. Like we were playing kickball and stuff. All that. Yeah, battle ball. I was most kids. I was the most kids. Yeah, Curtis, you putting on the football gear. We're gonna practice for an hour during PE. So we practice football. Like our practice for 5th grade instead of after school was during our PE time. Yeah. So we just really perfecting the offense since 5th grade. So I mean, bro, it shows. Yeah. Because it's just it's quick into the hole. And that's crazy. Yeah. No, man. This man just said they've been running this since the 5th grade. That's when I run. And be honest, they started in 3rd grade. I just wasn't there. 3rd grade, bro. This is deeper than communion. Yeah. It makes so much sense now. I ain't gonna lie. Like as an outsider looking in, it makes so much sense now. But that's crazy. Y'all PE time in the 5th grade was football practice. 3rd grade for me it just fit but 3rd grade they started was football practice. Football, and this ain't no like let's put on some shorts and a helmet. This is like man, put the pads on. We're gonna teach you how to put the thigh pads in. Let's get it cracking. You know? So man, it was. It all makes sense. Grade, bro. Yeah, it all makes sense. Now I see how Curtis is. It all makes sense. Yeah. Who'd you play? Who was on? Anybody notable on Curtis at the time that you were over there? Man, so when I played there, Wait, you know Paris Giambi? Beloso? Oh yeah. So I played. So me and Beloso. So his dad's super cool. Hot Rod season. I fucking love Hot Rod. Hey, Hot Rod's a good dude. I love Hot Rod. So he was the first guy that gave me a little NIL stuff right out of college. So he was cool about that. Okay. Man. And I use this stuff all the time. Yeah. So I played with Cade my freshman and sophomore year. He played football. Are y'all the same? Are y'all close to the same age? Yeah, pretty much. He's in my grade. Yeah. Okay. He graduated 18. I graduated in 20. Okay. So my freshman and sophomore year, I played football and baseball with him. So I got to see both sides of Cade. It was like, man, he played football. I'm like, he actually was pretty good. Played linebacker? He played outside linebacker. Dude, that's crazy. So he was he was just a trip, man. Just seeing him play, and he's just a good dude. Just
a
good dude in general, man. But
we had him on the podcast. We had a great time.
Yeah, he's awesome, man.
He came here at like 8 a.m. I was like, yeah, man, we could do it at that time. You know, yeah, sure.
No, he's cool. But one of the main guys, a guy named Corey Wren, you might remember him. He came second to who's your boy, that the fast track guy, the white guy that went to Georgia. He ran like sub-9 in the 100 meters.
Wait, the dude that got drafted by the Chargers?
No.
Not like
guy.
No.
He's a track guy. But anyways, he went to Georgia. Corey Wren finished second in that race.
Oh, wow.
So he was my running back, and then a guy named Angelo Anderson. He went to Tulane.
Oh, okay.
But I've been around so long. Like I was there practicing with varsity when Malachi Dupree was there.
Yeah.
The Duke Rileys of the world.
Damn.
All those guys. So I got to hang, and I still talk to Malachi to this day. So it's just like I was around all those kind of guys.
Hey, Duke Riley's panned out pretty good.
He's still in the pros. Yeah, he's still in the pros.
Yeah. He plays for the Dolphins.
Miami.
Yeah.
I think he's a special teams captain for them, man.
Yeah, I was about to say he's got he's on the team. He's been on the Dolphins for a minute. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no doubt.
They're good people. So I was around all those guys. Willie Allen went to LSU.
Oh, okay.
Willie Allen, bro. That's
Willie.
A name, bro. That's a name.
Willie. I'm trying to pull some guys that
Big Willie.
I'm thinking of.
They had a lot of running backs.
Garrett Wallow, remember that?
Garrett Wallow, yeah, he played at TCU.
Now he's starting linebacker for Tennessee.
Oh my God.
Oh, really? Damn, Tennessee's defense is bad.
Played against. I was even there when I played against Jamar Chase when he was still at Roma.
Oh, okay.
And then Christian Fulton.
Christian Fulton,
yeah. Christian
Played
Fulton.
against,
I mean, name names. Bruce Jordan Swilling. We can name the names.
The Swilling brothers.
The Swillings.
So
we can name them.
Oh, his son was playing corner, huh?
Yeah. Trey, and that's my big. I'll tell everybody, it's my biggest.
He's got to be a lot older than you, huh?
When I was a freshman, they
definitely
were seniors.
a lot older than him.
Okay.
'Cause he older than me. They older than me.
I remember seeing him.
When I was a freshman, Trey and Bruce were seniors. My biggest play I regret from high school, everybody who knows me tell you this, we're playing at Zephyrs Field. First year we're playing there.
Ooh,
man, we're
I
on
love
our
how,
own.
I love how you still call it Zephyrs Field.
Oh, got to.
I
mean, everybody from down here knows.
Yeah,
you don't call it the Shrine. It's Zephyrs Field.
Yes.
Let's call it what it is.
Yes.
So we're on our own 10-yard line. We're playing on ESPN2, not we're playing on ESPN.
Remember them days?
Man, we run like a little hitch and go. Receiver beats him, running on Trey Swilling. Man, I overthrow my guy by like 2 yards, and I'm like, bro, I just missed out.
You needed that against Trey.
Yeah, and especially on ESPN2. I'm like, wow, what a freshman move, you know?
Yeah.
So I played against those guys, Bruce, Kelvin Joseph. Remember that name?
Kelvin Joseph was a line.
Safety. Cowboys.
Okay.
Yeah, he played at LSU too. He left LSU.
Yeah.
Hold on. I don't like how you just skip past. You said, "Oh, that was such a freshman mistake." Bro, you're a freshman playing varsity, bro. What are you talking about?
You gotta have some high expectations.
He hit his man.
That was your moment.
Like still though,
he hit his man. He said, "Oh, man, I was a freshman." Hey, bro, you were a freshman playing
but
playing
still
time.
though, you gotta execute.
You're just saying because of the moments on ESPN, like, bro, let me show my ass.
Yeah, you can't.
No, he's like, "Oh, that was just bro. It's okay, bro. You going?"
But now instead of saying, "Man, I got to throw a 90-yard touchdown on ESPN," now it's like, man, I missed a 90.
Yeah, by 2 yards.
Yeah. Not even probably a fingernail.
Did the Swellings go to the pros?
Trey's actually in the NFL.
Trey's
actually in the NFL. Bruce was I ain't gonna say he ain't glazed, but Bruce was that boy, man.
Oh,
Bruce was that boy.
Was a man.
Oh, so wait, what is he younger or older?
He's older.
Bro, he was older than him.
Oh, okay.
But he was in a grade below. It was his whole story is weird. Because he was adopted. He's not the actual.
I just remember hearing about one of the Swellings playing corner.
Yeah.
And I just remember them.
He was good. He was good.
Now Bruce was the man. He played running back at Brother Martin, but then when he went to Tech, he played linebacker. And it's funny because when I went on a visit to Tech in high school, I went out there. They were my hosts, both of them. Super cool dudes, man. I got to spend 5 hours with those cats.
So that's how it goes. Like when you go on a visit and stuff like that, they hey, here's this guy. You be playing with him.
100%. 100%. And at Nicholls, it's 90 guys that's like that. So you could basically pick whoever you want on your visit. That's how it goes.
It's crazy.
So what about the Army situation? What happened with that?
So all right, so Army was cool, man.
You would have had to go to the Army.
Yeah, so I was actually active duty. So when all those guys they're active duty guys, it was super cool, man.
I just found that out 5 minutes before we started.
Really?
I didn't realize if you went to Army, you actually
No, you're in it.
You had to go to.
You're in the thick of it.
If they go to war, you gotta go to war, dude.
Yeah,
you locked in, baby.
Yeah, you locked in.
You locked in.
You signed the papers.
Yeah,
you in.
you locked in.
So it was cool, man. So the whole recruiting process, it was cool. It was disheartening, but it was also cool because at the same time, I'm undersized QB, running the triple option stuff. I'm getting looks, but not much looks. Hey, we like you, but you're a little undersized, a little too short. So it was cool. So Army came on late, and I signed with them. So I report there mid-June, and it was crazy. So I got a different experience than everybody. So the way it works is they vote for you. So it's weird, but like you either go direct or you go to prep school. So if you go to prep school, it's like your redshirt year, but you're not really in the Army. It's just like they're preparing you for the Army to kind of give you an extra year because you got to be smart to get in the Army, and I'm far from smart, trust me.
So they preparing you for the Army or to
correct,
be on the football team?
Both.
Okay.
It's both.
Gotcha.
So with prep school, it's basically for guys with lower grades, and basically, hey, we want to redshirt you, and once you're in the school, you can't redshirt. Yeah. So I'm like, look, dude, I'm already graduating. Like, I'm 19 years old. Like, I don't need to go to prep school. No offense. Not for me. So the way it works is my recruiter, he basically goes in front like a jury, pretty much. And he's like, hey, look, I got this dude, Collin Guggenheim. This is him. This is GPA. This what I think about him. And they vote. Yeah. So they'll vote, and they say, hey, look, and it's majority wins. So the head of every department, 7 people on the board, all you need to do is majority wins. I barely get in. I get 4 to 3 votes. So I go direct. I'm right into the school. I report mid-June, and that's right when COVID was hitting.
Oh, it's a 2020.
2020, so a whole different experience than what a normal person would. Look, super cool. I did boot camp for about 3 months.
Ooh,
3 months. Look, some super cool stuff. I got to shoot every gun you could think of. Got to throw grenades, shoot rocket launchers. Jumping out of Blackhawks. It was awesome. The coolest thing there, tell everybody this. My squad leader, she was on the jump team in the Army. So on Sundays, that was like your off day, go to church, kind of polish your boots, all that stuff. All right. So
I ain't heard that. Yeah, I've heard it before, but I ain't heard that.
Make sure them boots sign.
Polish your boots.
You better spit
I'm
on
using
them.
that. I gotta use that. I gotta use that. Polish your boots.
So man, she used to take us on the Blackhawks, and so the way our Army's located is right on the Hudson River in New York, right in the mountains, beautiful campus. We used to get in the Blackhawks, and I felt like a badass. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. I mean, my whole ACUs, got my helmet on, got the M4 across my chest, hooked up on the side of the Blackhawk. We just flying through the mountains on a Sunday afternoon, just like, man, what a vibe, you know?
Yeah.
So that was super cool. Now waking up at 4:30 every morning, running 3 miles and all that stuff.
That'll get you right.
Hold on.
That'll get your whole life right.
What's the morning routine? Can you break the morning routine down?
A normal day of boot camp.
Yeah, what's a normal day? What was a normal day?
So
like
you wake up at 4:30.
Okay.
Taps is at 5. So basically everybody's lined up in your PT clothes.
Okay.
You lined up, and so you go do PT from about 5 to 7. Okay.
PT is
like physical training.
Physical training. Okay.
Okay. So you go do that.
I was thinking therapy.
It can be.
Shows you where my head's at.
It can be depending on how you approach it. So you go for a 3-mile run. That's your warm up.
That's your warm up. A 3-mile run.
3-mile run.
Okay, Lord. 3 miles though. I mean, it's not like
that's a warm up every day.
That's not bad.
That's your warm up.
That's every day. So you go do that, and then you'll do like your sit ups, push ups, all that good stuff.
How many? 1,000?
Depends on who's in your group and if how they're listening or not. So you go do all that, and then depending on the day, you'll do like certain drills. Like you might like bear crawl for 100 yards and like barbed wire.
Bear crawls. That'll get you right too.
So you do all that. You finish up. You go back to the barracks. You change over into your dress grays because you can only go in the mess hall.
What about breakfast? I need to eat.
So you got to change over to your dress grays before you eat breakfast.
So you have to be cleaned up.
Exactly. So you basically got 5 minutes to shower, do whatever you got to do, changing your dress grays, be back downstairs.
Everything's timing.
Oh, it's
But they like that's what they want. They want you to have 5 minutes to shower
100%.
to see if you hit 5 minutes.
Exactly.
Okay.
So basically, and you do that. You go eat. You got from the time you walk in, from the time you leave, you got 10 minutes to get your food, sit down, eat, clean up, walk out. So after that, for boot camp, they put us in like these auditoriums.
Yeah.
And so basically like on these seminars pretty much, if you want to call it that, and you just learn something new every day. So you might be sitting there for like 5 hours and you learn about like how to apply a tourniquet and stuff like that. And you watching like some graphic stuff. Like a job. People don't realize a job in the military is like you watch film. Like football, you watch film.
Yeah.
In military, you watching film. And nothing's like blurred out or nothing.
Yeah, just to like get an idea of what happens.
What you're getting into.
Yeah.
And so look, as a city kid, I was like, holy cow.
I can only imagine.
It was super cool to experience that stuff because I got to see a whole different perspective and have so much more respect for those men and women who serve our country. So that we did all that, and then go to lunch, and then in the afternoon you did like your field training. So like
I ain't gonna lie, before you even got to lunch, it just sounds like there was a lot of shit going on.
Oh yeah,
that's a lot for just up to 12 o'clock.
Oh yeah, you lose track of the days. I'm serious.
Yeah.
And then so you did all that, and then keep in mind too, like in today's world, you don't got no cell phones. For boot camp, they take your phones from you.
Okay, the whole time?
The whole time. So you ain't getting no phones or nothing. You only time you communicate with your family and your loved ones is on Fridays, and that's if your whole platoon was good.
Jesus, God is worse than prison.
So they give you all that, and so then you do your physical training, then you go eat dinner, and then I'm saying my favorite part, the most funny part out of all of it is we call it knowledge party. So when you get there, they give you a booklet.
Yeah.
And it's about all the knowledge of West Point. And it's about a 100-page booklet, small print. You got to know it verbatim.
Okay.
And just all the important stuff that you should know. And so what happens is they line up your whole squad up, and you got to stand at attention or parade rest, one of those, I don't remember. And you got to hold the book up at your face. You can't let your hand drop. And you studying it, and it's called passing off knowledge. So you got to put your thumb out and pass off the knowledge to your squad leader, and they got to like sign off on it. And before you can even finish boot camp, like everything has to be signed.
How you
up.
Pass off the knowledge? Like you just tell them what you've read.
Exactly. So basically, you memorize. I'm looking at them like, all right, ready to pass. Permission to pass off knowledge. You got to stand there and just say it verbatim. And then it's like a checklist in school. So they just check you off. So dude, we would do that for 3 hours, just standing in the hallway looking at that. And then you had a week. So like it was all like week based. So you had a week to pass off certain knowledge, and if you didn't pass it off by like the time frame, they'd make you stand there until you pass it all off. It's like there was times people stood there for like 8-10 hours.
Oh my God!
So
psychological warfare.
So like there was no you had to learn it. There was no getting out of it.
When people think about going to the Army, like this is going to be tough. People don't think about all these intricate
the little
things.
Stuff.
They thinking in their head, they like, yeah, maybe it would suck to go to war, you know?
Real.
But dude, this stuff right here, bro, like you really have to be, to be smart.
You got to be committed to it.
Yeah,
and look,
committed. That's the word.
And look, I loved it because the football side of things, their facilities, awesome. Their weight room, bigger than Bama's. Like their weight room's legit. And people don't realize this either. They're the second biggest Nike contract in the country behind Oregon.
Okay.
So it's Oregon.
I did not know that.
Then it's Army.
I do like their uniforms.
It's
I mean, obviously black and gold.
And dude, that whole like football atmosphere there, coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. You got Blackhawks flying over everything.
What made you decide to not go forward with that and end up going to Nicholls?
So for me, the biggest thing was the COVID thing really threw me off a little bit. Not gonna lie, a lot of things on the inside kind of changed on how things were ran, which it had to. Everybody was adjusting and all. And for me and kind of what I wanted with my life at the time, they give you a 2-year grace period to get out. When you sign this, like once you hit your junior year, you sign the papers, like you're committed. So you go there for 4, you got to serve 5.
Okay.
Your junior year, you sign the papers, you serving your 5, or you got to pay the school $500,000 if you want to get out.
Damn.
That's what it is. So for me at the time, I'm like, look, let me get out now before I'm too deep into it. And it's just kind of one of the things where I got out. And look, like I said, I loved every bit of it. I learned so much stuff about myself.
How long were you out there? Like a month or 2 months?
I was there for about 2 months, 2.5 months, maybe 3, close to 3.
Okay.
So I was pretty much done boot camp when I left.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things. Look, I got lucky. I got honorable discharge. I got a quote unquote retire from there. It was cool.
Damn. Okay. Cool. So, but what's crazy is like the offense that you ran your whole life since 3rd grade. They run in Army.
The exact
same. So it makes sense that like Army was like, yo, let's get this dude because like you knew the whole playbook.
Yeah, and it was so similar to what we ran at Curtis, and it for me personally, it really did suck leaving. It was the best decision for me, but I went up there probably at least 5 times at least, and I got over 30 guys to sign there like with my class.
Oh, okay.
So it sucked because I got all those guys, and I'm like, hey, yo, by the way, hey, I'm out. Like,
oh,
see
damn,
y'all
from
later.
John Curtis.
Or just in general. So they would bring me up for like recruiting.
Oh, you was recruiting.
So they were coming to play with you?
Oh, yeah, like guys.
Yeah.
That's dope.
How do you feel about Louisiana dudes out there?
Oh, they tap into Louisiana. They love them some Baton Rouge Catholic guys, which I don't blame them. They some good dudes. Like Connor Finucane, he plays O-line over there. Dude is a beast.
Do they like do they think we hard workers?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that and I think they think we're hard workers too because I mean we from the South, so when we get up there, man, that's like AC when you're outside. And all that. Everybody's down like, oh man, it's hot. Like,
no, it does look breezy out there.
Oh,
yeah. I think you said y'all on the water out there.
Right on the water.
Oh, yeah, that's
they're just
breezy.
Awesome, bro.
Yeah,
and people don't realize like the history they got there. Like when I got there, like just on my off days, I'd roam, like go to museums. They got the bomb casing of Hiroshima.
Whoa.
What?
Yeah. Like they got that, like, and then other things, like you walking around campus, like you walk to like a normal building, like I'm just walking to a normal building, a class or something.
Dude.
They got the first ever cannon shot in the Civil War and the last ever cannon shot in the Civil War. Like stuff like that all over campus. Like you don't even realize.
So really the Guggenheimer thing ain't far-fetched.
No.
Because
really.
Guggenheim went to Army, saw like the bomb casings and shit. Like you had a chance to really like, dude, that Guggenheimer thing was absorbent.
Yeah, for real. So like it was super cool. And then decided to come back home. And like I'm a pretty loyal guy, and Coach Reba was the first school to offer me at Nicholls. So I came back and said, hey, look, Coach, coming back, first school to offer me. Look, this is what I want. Look, only thing I had was, I said, I'm not staying in the dorms. I can't do it.
Oh, yeah.
I said, I just was in the barracks with 3 other dudes in a room that's smaller than the kitchen. I said, I can't. Yeah. He's like, dude, no problem. He said, here's the papers. I said, when and where? And I was ready to roll after that. And that was kind of unique because I signed as a quarterback there.
Yeah.
So I signed to play QB at Nicholls. So the first month, it was that spring season with COVID and all that stuff. So I played that 21 year. And the first month I played QB and had some shoulder problems. And he's like, hey, I can't throw for like a month. What you want me to do? He's like, man, why don't you go play linebacker? I was like,
yeah, because my shoulder messed up. Let me go play linebacker. I was like,
he's like, why don't you go play linebacker? I feel like you'd be a good linebacker. I said, look, y'all got a guy at guard named PJ Burkholder who's a 3-time All-American. I don't want him blocking me on scout team. I said, I know this sounds crazy, but let me just try running back. I said, I don't know if I'll be good, but just let me try it. And then it kind of, that spring season was kind of whatever. And then going into that fall season of my freshman year, I was 4th on the depth chart. And then the whole plan was to redshirt. Yeah. And then Ida hit. So
that was a couple of years ago. Yeah, 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago.
So Ida hit. We in Memphis. We stuck in Memphis for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And so the whole plan was, we're going to redshirt you. I'm like, perfect. You know, I probably need it. So about 3-4 games into the year, starter goes down with a torn MCL. Same game, the backup has a concussion. So then the crazy part was the third team guy was my running back in high school. Okay. Marquise Albert. He was a ESPN 300 guy.
I'm about to say that name sounds familiar. Is he somewhere else?
He's at Nicholls.
Okay.
He's at Nicholls. He signed to Idaho.
Okay.
He's Idaho's highest ever recruit to sign there, ever.
No shit.
So he was starting in front of me, and I'm like, man, that's crazy. My freaking running back in high school. Yeah. Now we playing the same position. Yeah. And then next game, he breaks his fibula. Damn. And then so all of a sudden, I'm like, here we go. Yeah. And after that, it just kind of took off, man. That freshman year just.
I mean, but you knew how to run.
Yeah, but it's different, man. I mean, I'm in a shotgun. I'm not used to getting the ball, and I'm. It sounds weird, but I'm used to being in control of the game too. So it was hard to kind of take a step back, and people laugh, and I'm like, man, I had to learn how to block. I had to learn to run routes. I even learned to catch the ball. Like,
true.
People take that for granted, but I had no idea how to do half that stuff. So
but you know how to hit a hole.
Oh,
I was about to say, you know how to run north and south and get to the end zone.
Yeah.
That was one of my biggest takeaways from that night when you played LSU. Is like just the idea of just going north.
Yeah.
You just a north runner.
That's all I can do. Everybody's like, man, won't you have a little wiggle? I said, dude, I don't got that. All I got is north and south.
Yeah.
I know, and it was funny. So once I got settled after the freshman year, Thibodeau, is a bunch of old heads, and they love love them some down the
characters,
south.
bro. Love them.
So my sophomore year, my first game out, I did it on purpose. I wore them big old neck rolls. On purpose. So the first year out, I'm wearing a neck roll, and I at first for warm-ups, I put the jersey over the neck roll.
Okay.
And then afterwards, I took it off. But I wore that just kind of like a homage to the old guys, man. But that's all I know how to do is go north and south.
Yeah.
That's it.
So, all right. So I guess we'll talk about the LSU game real quick. Because if I told them earlier, if you had to pick who was the best player out of both teams the whole night, it was you. It was. You know what I'm saying? Take me to that moment when it's after halftime. Y'all get the ball. You get through that hole, and bro, you running for, was it 60-something yards?
Something like that.
Yeah. And you just looking at all of Death Valley. Like, what were you thinking in your head, bro? Like, you kid from Louisiana.
Yeah. Can we bring that up a little bit, like, before that? Like, what was it like, going into the stadium as a...
Yeah, like, okay,
like that,
fair enough. What was your thoughts before the game started? Did you think you were going to have a good game that game?
So I'll be honest, going into the game, I was like, dude, if I could just get like 50 yards and get out healthy, I think I'm happy.
Okay.
But just like walking in, like seeing how like the visitor team comes into the stadium, seeing how big the stadium is outside, like you take kind of all that for granted.
Yeah.
Because as a fan, you're just like, oh, I'm going to LSU game.
Yeah.
You know, so you get a whole different side of it as a player, like watching your family, friends, all standing there when you walk to the locker room. Then we walk out to kind of walk the field early, and I'm like, holy cow, this place is huge.
Dude, yeah.
And so the field felt so small, and it felt bigger than what it was just because of the magnitude of the stadium. So as a kid, I'm like, oh, here we go. Like at this point, like it's over. There ain't no time to be nervous, And man, it was just cool. And then like pregame, you hear everybody singing "Call It Baton Rouge," and it just gave me the chills. I'm like, holy cow! Like, I remember as a kid sitting in the stands, like just singing that.
Yeah.
So I just kind of taking a step back and kind of
right away you were a problem for LSU. You were right away. You were a problem because I remember like, dude, I was like, oh man, they Guggenheim again. I was like, Guggenheim again. All right, yeah, all right. So like, and the next thing you know, I was like, I had to put out a video. I was like, can they stop this motherfucker Guggenheim, bro? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Halftime, come right out. I think they were up by what? LSU was up by what, 10 or 11?
They were up, I think 12 because we had
It was
that
too
safety.
close. It was too close.
No, maybe it was 9. It was 9. They were up 9.
Okay.
We had 23-21.
And y'all got the ball first, right?
Correct. We had the ball first.
And it was what, the first play?
Second play.
Second play
off the rip. We got in the Wildcat, and it was just crazy how it happened. We actually adjustment weight at halftime. They did a good job. We didn't even have the play in all week. And we go back and watch the film because then they approved the new rule where we could have the technology on the sideline.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
So we watched it, what they were doing defensively, and we're like, man, we think this play is going to work. So we kind of drew it up on the board. And then that play was meant to hit on the right. So where I hit the hole wasn't even meant for it to hit there. It just kind of hit it backside.
Yeah.
And it just kind of happened. So then while I'm running, I'll be honest, I didn't even look at the stadium or just see Death Valley. Only thing in my head is like, don't get caught, don't get caught.
Yeah.
So I'm screaming that in my head, and then
down.
Thank God we're playing there because they had the score, the video board up.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the video to see how close the other guy is. So I'm just trying to veer out and get away from him a little bit. And then once I scored, it just kind of like the best feeling in the world was just hearing a silent Death Valley.
Yeah.
Like everybody's just loud. Even the first touchdown I scored, everybody loud on the goal line, and you put it in and just like silent. You hear a pin drop. And then kind of same thing. Yeah. And then it was
because in their heads, they're not expecting y'all to score at all.
Well, that's why I think one of the boosters, I don't know if it was a jab at us or not, he said for every point we scored, he'd pledge 10 grand to the school before the game even happened.
Oh, dude, a Nicholls stay booster?
Yeah.
Hey.
So when we scored 21 points, like, all right, like, where's the check at? like where's our check at? So, man, it was just cool.
So like in that moment, what are you thinking of the LSU defense in the moment, man? Like,
so I will say, obviously, you're playing a top 20 team in the country.
Yeah.
They got some really good athletes. You got safeties that are huge. The holes close a lot faster when you're playing bigger teams like that.
Okay.
Now I will say the O-line, they did a really, really good job that week. I think they were just amped up, because 95% of teams from Louisiana.
Yeah.
So everybody's amped up playing.
They know what it means.
Oh yeah, they knew exactly what they were getting into. So I think them like playing super hard all week, and I think we out physicaled them for the first half.
No,
sure.
There's no I think.
Yeah.
Y'all did. We watched the game. There was no I think.
So that that just got me going because I'm like, man, these dudes are playing.
Like,
they're playing their butt off for me. So man, time for me to roll now. So I just kind of use that as momentum. Now I will say, the week before we felt like we had something to prove because we lost to La Tech in a tight game, and La Tech's defense was good. They had a good defense, and we felt like we should have won. So I just think the whole
whose defense you think was better? Yeah, I mean, it don't matter.
I just call it what it is. I think Tech's scheme and the way that they filled gaps was a lot harder to run the ball against them.
Okay,
it really was. LSU, I think they might have I don't know if they were trying stuff because we were Nicholls or what they were doing defensively. But they had a couple more holes open up against LSU. But La Tech, the way that just came out their scheme, they threw a lot of good stuff.
Hey, were you trying to run it at Perkins?
I wouldn't say I was trying to run it at him. Just kind of was the guy that was the unblocked guy on some plays, and it just kind of happened how it happened. But I feel bad for him, man. I hate to see it happen like that for him.
It's terrible, man.
He's a heck of a player. Just kind of unfolded like that.
What year is Perkins, by the way? Is he a junior?
He's a junior.
Okay, so he could come back.
Yeah, pure junior. I doubt he'll come back.
Go
to the league.
I feel like he got to come back.
He got to come back, not just because of the unfortunate of the entry, but for the other reason, which is, bro, I mean, there was no performance.
He's gonna get some type of grade back. They're gonna be like, okay, he'll go to the league. If I'm a betting man, I'm saying Harold Perkins is definitely not coming back. There's no way he comes back.
You don't think he's gonna play college football next year?
I do. No, I think he'll jump to the pros.
I'm about to say, I think the money too. I feel like he can make more money
Yeah, but I mean, my thing is,
I'm saying coming off an ACL injury though.
Yeah,
I think he'll still be a first round.
But here's the thing: working against him, not just ACL, but it's like the productivity in the last 2 years just isn't really there like that.
Years, he was still productive last year. Like that's a lot overblown. Like than people.
Yeah, but for what they saying, they had Mel Kiper had him as the number 1 rated inside linebacker. They got him at inside linebacker.
He's not an inside linebacker.
Okay, but that's what they want. That's what they got him rated as.
No, that's not.
I will say, from our perspective, watching on film, he gave a lot of team fits from our side of things. So he definitely was the big star on the board.
Oh, that's what y'all looking for?
Oh, that was our big star on the board. Like, hey, like, watch out for this guy. He could play.
Yeah.
So
damn, nobody else on the team.
I mean, just the way they run the schemes. Perkins was good. Their DBs are good. So Stamps.
Yeah, Stamps.
Played against him in high school. Like,
oh, okay.
Just crazy. I'm like, man, I remember Stamps. I think he was a sophomore when I was a senior. I'm like, man, look at Stamps, bro.
Yeah.
I'm grown up now. It's just, I feel like the old head now because all the young guys that I play with just coming up. And I'm like, man, I remember that kid. I trained with him. So a guy we trained with, Corey Hardy, Camp Hardy. And all, yeah, everybody from Kenner and that whole area knows Hardy.
See, when we were growing up, it was Kurt Hester.
I don't know Kurt Hester.
That's crazy because Kurt Hester was like, dude, like legend. He's with so he was on Tulane's staff the last few years, and then when Willie Fritz went to Houston, he went with Willie Fritz to Houston. This dude Kurt Hester, bro, I'm telling you, man, he had us throwing up every day. I tell you, my guy at Tulane was Will Hall, man. Oh, okay.
That was my dude. So in high school, he recruited me. Good guy. And then he's the head coach at Southern Miss now, I think.
Okay. Yeah. So Kurt Hester was strength and conditioning, and we had to go there. It was like every morning. So we had to go lift weights, and then we had to. This is all part of Kurt. You lift weights, and then you just went and ran your ass off.
Really?
Yeah. You went, or vice versa. You ran your ass off, went and this is when Super Pump had just came out. I'll never forget it. And they literally, this is in 2009. You'd walk into the weight room, they had the Super Pump on the table. They're like, yeah, make sure y'all get some of that before y'all go in there.
No, I grew up on the. So Curtis's whole thing was Tommy Moffitt.
Oh, I mean,
so Moffitt was a Curtis guy.
Legend.
He was my dad's weight coach at Curtis. So everything we did was all Moffitt. So that's kind of who we grew up on. And then Camp Hardy. So I had Stamps was with Hardy when we were little. So I remember Stamps when we were like 10, 12 years old.
Stamps been that boy, West Bank.
I know, for real.
Oh, he's from the West Bank?
Yes, sir.
I can't speak about the West Bank because I'm from Kenner, so I'll let y'all.
Yeah, that's right.
I gotta let y'all have that one, but it is what it is.
Kenner's like the Aeropostale of everything. It's just kind of like on its own.
Yeah, Kenner, bro. That's what it is, man. So
yeah, no, that's crazy, man. So let me ask you this, man, because you go look at any tape you got. To me, it just looks like somebody missed something. Okay, and I know you probably feel the same way too, because you got to feel good about yourself, right? So to me, it's like we all sitting there after the LSU game, we're not even knowing that you're a senior, redshirt. We're like, dude, we got to get this dude to LSU. How's that feel when you hear people say shit like that? Like, how's that make you feel?
It's a cool feeling, but I always believe that, there's a reason where I'm at and why I'm there, and everything happens for a reason. So, I mean, look, I get it. At the end of the day, college is a business. I mean, call it what it is.
Yeah.
College is a business. And look, they're looking for tangibles, looking for certain height, certain weights. If you don't fall in that category,
You're not super short.
Oh, for what I play and coming out as a quarterback, I mean, I came out of high school as a QB, so 5'11", that's short. I'm not no Johnny Manziel or none of those. I don't move like none of those guys. Trust me. So like, just it's all intangible. So if you don't fit in that category, you can might as well scratch off 80% of the college schools.
That's crazy.
So it's just how it works, and that's part of the business. And look, I get it, and so it's cool to hear people say that stuff. Like, man, like, why don't you go play at LSU next year? Like,
dude, there was people that saw that you were a redshirt senior and were like, no, let's get him to LSU. And I'm sitting there like, wait, how does that happen?
So what the crazy part is I'm actually a true senior.
Oh, okay.
I got the COVID year, didn't count for me.
So why did it say? Oh,
so
red.
I don't know. I don't know if it has redshirt senior or not, but it might. I don't know. But I'm actually a true senior. So like, if knock on wood, but like if I wanted the redshirt, I technically could. It's gonna be.
Don't put no Bear Alexanders now.
No. I'm not redshirt. Trust me. I'm staying exactly where I'm at.
Okay.
Bear Alexander.
I thought if you played so many plays, I mean,
you get 4 games.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what we had, huh?
Yeah. Matthew Sluka from UNLV.
That's why your boy just did that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, don't put no Bear Alexanders.
That's probably gonna be the new trend in college football, sadly.
It is kind of sad.
But
how do you feel about all this? Because you're actually in it, right? And you was before the NIL too.
Correct. I was right basically when it all happened. And look, everybody tell you I'm an old school guy. Like I really am. Everything I do, all the way like the old remedies of getting ready for games. Yeah. I'm old school, man. I'm just a hot tub, cold tub guy. But like, I miss the days where guys were just happy to go to school for free.
Yeah.
You know? And look, they still got paid on the side. And look, I get it. I feel like a happy medium that's got to be there.
I feel like that way was better.
You know? And I feel like guys played, I guess, harder for a university. Yeah. But I also understand, too, the amount of money university's making on a guy. Like, I get it. You know, like, whether that's the ticket sales because they're coming to see whatever. I don't know. I just feel the days of being happy that, hey, I get to go to college for free and I still get paid a couple. It's gone. And that's what I miss and I appreciate because I feel like sooner or later, college football is going to wind up being a salary cap. And you're going to have general managers and they're going to be probably trading guys here. And
my thing about it is I just think back on when I was 18 years old and it's like I just know that I'm 32, that my brain was not developed. Yeah, and I mean that when I say that, like to where if you gave me a bunch of money.
Are you signing?
Yeah, and it's also like I'm going to take my foot off the, you know what I'm saying? Like that's, you young, you're going to think like that. I got this money. You're going to be thinking about the money while you're playing. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So I don't know, man. Like that's my only thing about that is like really young dudes getting a lot of money. And who's managing it and all this other shit. And
exactly. And look, for me, I'm in small town too, though, so I have no idea really the big side of the money thing. But I can only imagine those LSU guys. Even like
Gordon McKernan hit you up?
No.
I'm so surprised.
Nah,
I'm surprised he didn't ring your ass up that night.
But I did recently sign with an insurance company, though.
Okay.
Shaw Insurance. Shout out to them.
Oh, Shaw?
Yeah, Shaw Insurance. So if you need home, flood, car insurance, hey, hit me up.
Yeah, look at my boy.
I got y'all, man.
Yeah.
Got y'all. If y'all
Who
need
else
some
is
good
Shaw?
prices.
I've heard of them from somewhere else. Is it from OTB or something? From Nick Underhill.
Yeah.
Nick Underhill is sponsored by Shaw. That's where I heard it. Yeah.
Shaw Bills?
Shawbert.
Shaw Bear Insurance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Shaw Bears.
So they do super cool people, man. So if y'all need to beat some prices on,
I love that.
Beat some prices on it. Hey, that's your guys. They help me out, man. Cool people.
What was that night like when you got home? Obviously, I mean, everybody had to be hitting you up, bro.
It was crazy, man. Like, so when I finished the game, I had over 500 text messages. Just text messages. And then you posted a video, so it was blown up on Twitter. It went like that. So I had over thousands of notifications on my phone, and I'm like,
Lord,
and I knew I had a good game, but I didn't realize the amount of yards I had till after the game. Because when you're in a game, you don't really know. I mean, you do notice, but you don't. So I didn't realize what I did till everything kind of calmed down. I was like, holy cow. Like, it got crazy. So everybody hit me up, and it was just a surreal moment. You know, everybody hit me up from childhood days. And I got aunts and uncles hit me up I ain't talked to in 10 years, too. Like,
they ain't seen him since the last funeral.
Yeah, exactly.
I changed that diaper.
I fed
That's the people at the funerals. Like, we need to get together more. I ain't seen you since the last funeral.
Exactly, exactly. And then they called me out the blue. Dude, man, I'm your number one fan. Okay. Good to talk to you, bro. Yeah, good hearing from you. I'll hear from you again in 10 years. Yeah. Then my favorite ones, like, everyone's like, bro, like, where you gonna play in the NFL?
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm a running back at Nicholls. Like, no offense, like, this is it for me, man. Like I'm trying to enjoy the last year, break a couple records, go win another conference championship.
You do have like a Taysom Hill vibe to you, though, to where somebody could. You never know, dude.
Yeah, you never know. And look, I'll be honest, I'm a realist too, though. Like, I'm a FCS running back. Like,
if you were a realist, though, you would be keeping that little window open of like, hey, somebody could figure something out.
And look, and I'll train for it. I'll put myself in the best position possible. But like, another day too, like, life also moves on.
I mean, you devoted your whole life to football. You owe that to yourself, at least.
It's been 20 years, man.
You were probably eating little football pancakes when you were growing up, huh?
They had me in my like 1-year-old pictures. I'm holding the football.
Yeah.
Hey, I will say though, shout out to Pops for putting me in some J's. Only had J's when I was little. So.
Tell me about Pops, because I heard you a legend too. Yeah. So I heard you a legend too. So where did you played at John Curtis and then went on to play where?
Iowa State.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
12. Well, it was the Big 8 when I first started.
It was the Big 8.
Big 8. And then he switched to the Big 12 my sophomore year.
Okay.
Yep.
So you did the whole Iowa State Iowa rivalry, and man,
I played Nebraska with Lawrence Phillips, the Fraziers, unreal, man. Oklahoma's wild stuff.
Yeah. Oklahoma, like when they had like bars and shit.
No, that was a little bit before me, but I mean Oklahoma still was Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Just
What position you play?
I was a fullback.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Back in the
Triple
day.
option.
Yeah.
Curtis, triple option with Curtis. Iowa State ran the triple option. I'm like, I'm there. Because I was going to go to USC.
Yeah.
I wanted to go. They offered me.
They needed you. USC needed that.
Well, they said, we're going to redshirt you. We're going to put you in the scout team. We're going to get you ready for your sophomore year. I was like, Iowa State said, you come, you play. I'm there, bro. So.
A fullback, man. That was back when, like, Allstott and shit.
Yeah, Joel Makovica.
Who's the one for the Cowboys?
Moose.
Yeah, Darryl Johnson. That was my era.
Yeah.
100%.
That was the fullback era.
They need to bring fullbacks back.
Jacob Hester is real happy right now.
I know Jacob Hester.
If Jake is watching right now, shout out Jake, man, because I know he's so happy. Like, they brought up fullbacks right now. This is exactly what I want.
Yeah. He was a dog, though, too, man.
Matter of fact, you will be on this all meathead team. I'm gonna tell him he needs to change the all meathead team and put you as a selection.
He would be on it for sure.
For sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Trust me, I'll run it by him.
Dude, I was at Hester's game in it was in 07 when we played Tebow.
Yeah,
we were at that game.
Yeah.
I was in the Superdome, huh?
No, this was
at LSU. At LSU,
yeah.
we sat
LSU
there.
won.
Yeah, I was a Florida fan at the time. I probably shouldn't say that.
Oh, really?
Tebow
good.
got me, and I was the only dude in the
Tebow
Florida.
got you, huh?
Dude, Tebow. I was, I pulled for the home team, and then Tebow got there, and I'm like, man, I like this team.
They had a team that was very like you wanted to play with them on the game. Like they were very
I want to play them in the game, and then you see the documentary on Aaron Hernandez.
I'm so happy. So happy.
They had Percy Harvin. There's a lot of likable dudes on the team.
Dude, Dev, I literally got crucified on OTB because I told him I like Tim Tebow. And
yeah, I like him too.
I love Tim Tebow.
Bro, they crucified me for that.
I can't stand when people hate on that dude.
Yeah, bro, we were kids watching this.
Yeah.
Like, this dude was amazing.
Yeah.
When he did in Denver, man, come on. Tebow time. Everybody hitting the Tebow time. Bro,
And
that
the
was amazing.
playoff game, you
That's
won
what I'm
it?
saying. To Demarius Thomas,
Yes.
rest in peace. But that was
T-Bob and Jake fried me, bro.
Dude.
They was in the comments saying I was watching the Tebow game. They're
I'll never
like, were
forget
you even
that
old enough to see Tebow? You was wearing diapers. Bro, the comments was frying me, bro.
But that Florida game, LSU Florida 07, Hester, I think this is the game that he ran over Major Wright.
Yeah.
To say, dude, it was a
Headhunter.
legendary football game. I was
Major
15
Wright.
years old. It was like one of my first tailgates I ever went to. I'll just never forget. That was like real
grime.
oh
Grimy,
man,
man. They don't make them
SEC
like that no more,
football.
man.
I'll never forget that. Pops got me a jersey for my birthday, I think it was. And I'm wearing a Tebow jersey, like with.
In Death Valley?
Oh, yeah.
You a wild boy.
Yeah.
You a wild boy.
Big Tebow. And then we went
Gator
and saw his last game. What was it, in the Sugar Bowl?
Yeah.
We
Who
went
they
to
played that-
one.
they
was
played-
it Utah that year?
Yeah. Something like that.
Or Oklahoma, maybe?
Yeah.
One of something like that. I think it might have been Oklahoma or Utah. Something like that. And that was cool just to kind of
One of them Sugar Bowls. When Georgia played Hawaii, that's when Hawaii had Colt Brennan.
Yeah.
Dude, I was such a big Colt Brennan fan that year. I literally thought Hawaii was gonna beat Georgia, and I don't know if y'all remember how that went, but that was a smacking. What year was it?
The Sugar Bowl, Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
Oh, that's it.
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was somebody, Red.
Who did Cincinnati have that year? Who's the quarterback?
Tony Pike?
Okay.
Isaiah
I
P.
don't remember him.
Okay.
Isaiah Peed, yeah.
He was in the NFL for a little minute, Isaiah
Travis
P.
Kelce.
Stop it.
Yeah, Kelsey was on the team. Number 7, Travis Kelce.
Damn. Imagine being Travis Kelce then. Like, you could have never fathomed that you'd be dating Taylor
Yeah,
Swift.
Twirlers.
Yeah. 3 Super Bowls, got Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Life is good.
Yeah, life's great.
Life is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Life is great.
Travis Kelce goes on your tour and
Yeah.
You know, me and my brother's Hall of Famers.
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
Hey,
life
pull
is
up the
great.
Twitter questions.
Oh, let's get into it.
Yeah,
Let's
Goose,
get
we got
into
some. Dude, there's a
Got
lot
some
of questions
juicy
for you,
ones?
brother.
Really?
People were excited, bro.
Really?
it. Yes.
Yes. Oh, dude, I'm live. The first question. Is LSU the softest defense he's faced this year?
I wouldn't say softest, but easiest that I've been able to run against all year. Besides Mississippi Valley that we played last week.
Wait,
SWAC school.
is that where Jerry Rice went to school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Played them last week. We beat
Ooh.
them 66-0. I played I think 15 plays.
Okay.
Besides them, I will say I had the biggest holes against LSU.
Opportunity.
Yeah, it's true.
That's crazy to hear that
Yeah.
about LSU defense.
Now, I will say, though, all the other teams we've played cover 0 and put 8 in the box. And,
Yo.
LSU, they only put 6 in the box. We're trying, and look, I get it, but all the other teams put 8 in the box. So
Yeah.
That's disrespectful. LSU was just disrespectful. They had to find out. They had to find out.
They just
find out.
All right.
You want to do the honors?
I'm just trying to. My eyes are getting bad.
I can't even see from this.
Gotta ask. All right, we'll switch it up. Let's go from Ron. Gotta ask about his favorite restaurant around the city. Also, his favorite JT Curtis memory. So there's a double header.
I don't know if I should reveal all the good JT moments. I guess I can. Heck with it.
Guys, give us some JT, man.
I mean, learning the playbook in 3rd grade is pretty wild.
So I will say, best hands down spot, favorite restaurant. I'll go there every time, whether I'm sad, whatever.
This better be good.
Jendeuces and Kenner.
Okay, I know about Jendeuces. You a real Kenner. I'm a
Kenner, bro.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Jendeuces. Yeah, he's repping Jendeuces.
Jendeuces.
You go to Williams Seafood?
Of course.
Yeah. They got good specials.
Good special. Now, I will say that I'm also a big Kenner Seafood guy. Now.
Okay, yeah, I like Kenner
Can't
Seafood.
sleep on Kenner Seafood, but only during crawfish season.
Yeah.
And then look, if you ever want to switch it up, get you a fried pork chop from there.
Oh, he know what he talking about.
Oh, bro, fried pork chop with the mac and cheese.
Yeah, we went. I got it. I think I had played Joker Poke and everything. I did the whole thing. Yeah.
Nah, the only real experience there is if you played the Gallagher machine.
Okay, then what am I thinking of? Not
they got the Joker Poker there, but they got the little Gallagher machine right when you walk in.
All right, okay.
Yeah. So Kenner Seafood, but I will say Jendeuces spot, chicken parm, can't go wrong, and then got to get the John Gotti. Meat Lovers Pizza.
Oh, okay.
John Gotti.
And look, at heart, I ain't gonna lie, I'm fat as hell at heart.
Let me ask you this: were you messing with the old ponchos down there on Williams? Three Amigos.
Oh, Two Amigos.
Yeah, Two Amigos.
Two Amigos was a good spot. I will say another spot that I love that I only ate at once is in Metairie now, right?
Well, just switch it behind you. No problem. It's all good.
I will say good spot right by Hooters in Metairie. Paco Tacos, man.
Paco Tacos.
I know about
They got a shirt. I loved it so much. I bought a shirt that said we love bitches love tacos. Bro, had to get it, bro. I love that experience.
I worked at Lamarck Ford for 5 years, so I was on Williams every day.
Bro.
And let me tell you, man, we ate. You know what I'm saying? So we went all the way up and down. I done been they got a Chinese restaurant going the other way. It's one of the most unsanitary. It was actually named the most unsanitary.
China, you eat there all the time. Chinatown.
Hey, fire food though. I don't care if rats are stepping on it before they serve it. It's so good. Right. Purple Haze in the refrigerator is an absolute. It's mandatory. It's mandatory. It's like having water when a hurricane comes. You got to have some water. You got to have some Purple Haze during Mardi Gras. This is some mandatory shit. If they could announce it on the news, they would. So I'm going to announce it on my news. You got to have Purple Haze in your house, in your refrigerator, come this Mardi Gras season. If not, I can't even throw bread at the ducks with you. What is his dream? This is Revens. What is his dream down the bayou NIL deal? So what's your dream NIL deal?
Oh, down the bayou? Just depends. Well, I just got Chabert, so
he definitely from down the bayou. If he ain't from down the bayou,
Chabert is cool, but man, I think for me it's got to be any food spot, man.
Yeah,
like food spot.
Like, what if Popeyes hit you up?
Oh, you gotta sign that. Get the chicken sandwich. Hook up the old lineman every once in a while.
Popeyes sent me a life-size biscuit. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. That was like one of the happiest moments of my life. It's
question
a
is how salty was it?
Well, the best part about it is it looks just like a regular biscuit, but it's also a hat.
Really?
Really?
That biscuit is a hat?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, we didn't see that biscuit years. I never knew it was a damn hat.
Hell yeah.
I never knew that. That biscuit been sitting in there for so long.
Hell yeah, put that bitch on your head.
That's what I'm saying.
Bro, that biscuit been sitting there for so long, bro.
I mean, dude, I've never seen anybody have this ever.
No,
bro.
heck no.
You know?
Wow.
But yeah, dude. This shit's fire, dude.
It's like it's like the cheeseheads of Green Bay, but Louisiana.
Yeah. This is way tighter.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, like, jeez, bro. What? Are you kidding me? Yeah, no, this is it, dude.
Bro, that's actually mad fire. That made it a lot more cooler than just seeing the biscuit on the ground.
I know. And that's how, like, people are just like, yo, is that a biscuit on the ground?
I tell you what I think would be a super cool NIL deal is like if you can manage like a swamp tour stuff, like swamp boats or something. Like,
yeah. I went on one of them. And I was very, because, you know, being from Louisiana, I'm always like, dude, I know dudes who they'll bring me to go see an alligator, you know, right away. So I'm like, I'm going on this swamp tour thing. It's going to be commercial. Dude, no, bro. these dudes like that do the tours, bro. I mean, you saw the guy married Lana Del Rey.
Yeah. I just heard about
as a
that
swan
today at
tour.
work. Yeah.
Well, there's a reason, because like, dude, this shit's fun, bro. Like, it's captivating.
Oh, it's like their pets, man.
Yeah.
They know exactly when they come up to them.
Yeah, he was feeding them little alligator biscuits that made him come up, and made like 12 of them swim. I was like, what you feeding
Probably
these
patting
dudes?
them on the head and everything.
Yeah.
Popeyes.
Yeah, no, it was crazy, man. All right, let's see what. I love what he considered transferring to LSU comments. I love that shit.
Wow.
Ask him if he owns a Derek Carr. You own any Saints jerseys?
Dude, believe it or not, I don't.
Oh, okay.
So I guess I'll admit this. I always pull for the home team, but when
Dude,
it comes to
don't do it.
NFL,
Don't
no,
do
no,
it. Not Falcons.
no.
Okay, I was about to throw this biscuit.
No, I got no favorite teams.
Okay.
I will say that. I always pull for the home team. I just pull for players.
Okay.
When it comes to NFL, it's like big Tom Brady guy.
Okay.
Like
you just love
I pull
football.
Yeah, I'm just a big football guy.
Yeah.
I pull for certain players.
Yeah.
And then for the home team, I'm always pulling for you.
What's some other players?
Tom Brady was good. Even watching Drew Brees growing up, man, it was cool.
Well, I would hope so.
But it was cool though, because my mom, she's a police officer for Kenner, so they used to always work the detail at the hotel. So I got, as a young kid, like I gotta go to the hotels where the Saints stayed when they walked in and all, and like gotta dap up all the kids and all.
Yeah.
As a kid, they got I got daps from them, and then she ran an NFL flag league in the Saints place when they had like Lance Moore, Derrick Henderson, all those guys used to come out. So like those are cool guys as a kid. Like, oh man, I just met whoever.
Yeah.
And now I get to look up to them. And then the Mannings.
Yeah.
Looked up to them. They come to Thibodeau every year for the Manning camp.
You know Arch?
Dude.
It's this dude.
So,
this dude Arch, bro.
So Arch, and then his dad Cooper.
Cooper a funny guy.
Dude.
He a funny motherfucker.
So at the Manning camp, he has like a comedy night where he just gets on the mic.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, one of the funniest dudes.
He's got that odd comedy.
He does, and he could care less.
Yeah.
Whatever he's thinking, it's coming out. Like exactly how he's thinking it, that's exactly how he's saying it. Then it's cool, like when you downtown and all at night, like all the college guys got their little section and all, and like they'll make a little appearance.
Well, supposedly Cooper. This is what I used to hear growing up. Maybe you could tell me this. What I used to hear as a kid growing up, just small talk before the internet, any of that shit. Small talk at the ballpark. People used to be like, "Cooper's the best athlete at the Mannings."
Yeah.
They used to always say that.
Yeah, even Big Arch, he'll still say, "Hey, bro, Cooper was the best one."
He played what, receiver?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, receiver.
Yeah, and he played at Tennessee. Did Cooper play at Tennessee? Ole Miss. Okay.
Ole Miss.
That's crazy to think, though, dude. Receiver, especially at that time, like they didn't have that many white receivers. Mm-hmm. Like I remember Keith Poole, who you had, Brandon Stokely. It just wasn't that many.
Time.
Ricky Prohl.
Nah, I will say a wild card guy that didn't play offense that I loved growing up watching was Brian Urlacher.
Oh yeah,
that was my guy. Like anytime Brian Urlacher played, I was glued to the TV. Well,
that was the era. Yeah, that was the era I was growing up. Those guys.
And don't kick it to Hester.
Yep, Devin Hester.
Don't kick it to Hester.
I remember seeing him at Miami, and I was just like, this dude's gonna be great because he was returning them at Miami. Mm-hmm. You know. All right, let's see what else we got. Go through a few more. Hold on. This is a hard question. I remember reading this one. Disgusted. All right, this is from. He really wants a good answer. You can tell because he wrote a lot. Discuss the difference between FCS and FBS football in terms of scholarships. 63 versus 85.
Yeah. So the way the FCS works is smaller budget teams. So we only have 63? We only have 63 scholarships for a team. So like FBS, you get 85 or whatever it is. So they get 20 more scholarships. So the way FCS works is you got to be, I'm saying choosy on who you pick, but we only got 60-something scholarships. Everybody else is walk-on. So our team, like Nicholls, we got 115 guys.
Okay.
So basically half the team's walk-ons.
Damn, that is crazy.
It's tough. Now, look, you do have guys like most of it's in-state guys. So you get your TOPS money that pays for school. You'll get guys who are smart, guys you need on the team to boost the team's GPA. Always need some guys like that.
Okay, yeah.
So we'll get some guys like that on the team. And so it sucks because funding, like Nicholls is, so if you look it up, Nicholls is actually the top 10 lowest budget in the entire FCS.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're like I think the university as a whole, like we're we're struggling to scrap up some money. So it's tough to get those guys.
Y'all made a nice check against LSU.
Oh heck, and we're gonna get a nice check from a booster for scoring 21
points. That was a win-win-win, bro.
Win all around.
Other than the loss, that was just wins all around the board.
Yeah, wins around. And then what's crazy is I think if it sucks, but if we don't have the fumble, I think we're still somewhat in the game a little bit. Oh,
absolutely.
I firmly believe we were still going to drive. I don't know if we're going to score, but
it was getting scary. It was getting scary. Down to us. It was getting
a little fun. And look, I got to give it to Coach Rebo. He's done if you look at the past, like Georgia, when they had Nick Chubbs and was it Sony Michel? Lost by 2 points to him.
Yeah.
At Georgia, go down and beat Kansas.
Yeah.
And I think 18 or whatever it was.
That was Ladarius. No, I mean that was who was on that team? That team right there, that 18 team. There was they had somebody good. What was the year that Ladarius Webb played? I know that was like a while back, but I think they had a big win that year too when they had Ladarius Webb.
And then also too, they played A&M close.
Yeah.
So
Puka Williams was on that Kansas team. Puka. One of the greats. One of the greats.
Only know about Puka if you're from.
That was a Les Miles recruit, huh? Yeah. Oh, and then he flipped, or what? How did that work? How did that go?
Jamar was a Kansas recruit that flipped to LSU. Yeah. Once Les Miles got out of there.
Then remember he was with another name for you, Devontae Jason.
WAP? WAP? Yeah, from Landry Walker?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, someone on the West Bay.
What year was that?
2018, 2017.
Yeah, that time. So him and Jamar, I think committed together.
It was one more receiver, too, that was in the city.
Devin Bush.
Devin Bush, yeah. No, somebody. I can't remember. God damn, I can't remember. But WAP, WAP was a beast. WAP.
I remember Puka, though.
And then, whatchamacallit, who was the corner for them? Corion Harris. Remember that name? He was a cornerback. He signed to Kansas.
Yeah,
Andrew Walker.
Yeah, Dreads. Yeah, I knew you're talking about.
Then I'm saying transferred. He switched position to QB.
Yeah.
That next year.
Oh, wow.
That was all my freshman year.
Crazy.
It was wild. And then how about junior year? We're playing. I'm on the QB1 episode when they did it with Lance Lejeune at Warren Eastern.
I'm so mad.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That episode, I think it was like
Spencer
episode 5
That
or
was
6.
the year Spencer Rattler was on QB1 too.
Mm-hmm. I never watched that series. I just heard about it.
You should go watch it, bro. It's really good.
That's when Spencer Rattler was like supposed to be talking about shit.
Yeah. I think that was like episode 5 or 6.
Oh, I can't tell you the name of the episode.
I know it was one of them.
Oh, you was in?
Yeah, that was the episode we played them. And the crazy part about that game, I played that game with pneumonia.
No way.
I was running 102 fever.
Real football guy.
So I'm sitting there like, could barely catch my breath. I remember the first drive, band's playing. We run like a speed option to the right, completely botch the pitch. They scoop it up, score. QB coach comes to his side, he's like, "You want me to put the freaking backup in or what?" I was like, "Nah, coach, nah." And then I think I rushed for like 140 against them and like 3 tutties
against Warren Eastern.
When you running an option, do you have it down the way you wait to the very last moment if you're gonna like literally like? I've seen some highlights where, like, bro, you wait until
my junior and senior year for sure. Once I got like super comfortable with it, but by the time I was a junior, like, I pretty much knew exactly where I was going with it. The second I walked, like, from the time I walked out the huddle to the time I got on the line.
Oh wow, okay.
I knew exactly what I'm doing. People don't realize this either. Coach JT with his quarterbacks, he allows us to audible at any time.
Wow.
Because in the Catholic League, you see so many different defenses. So like one time you might see a 50 defense, and the next play you see a 4-3. And there's different veer plays you run to all that stuff. So people like in a normal game for me, I'm probably audible in probably 75% of the plays.
Wow.
Just because you see so many different looks. So by the time junior, senior year, I mean, we were just rolling. Like, I knew exactly what looking for. And so I pretty much, I'd wait till the last second. So I try to see how long I get downfield before I had to pitch it. So yeah, man, it was just wild. And then no offense to your Holy Cross Tigers,
I mean, we know, bro. Trust me, bro. I lived it. I'm about to say, like, bro, we lived it, bro.
Every time somebody says no offense,
if you pull up the senior year stats against the Tigers, it was I think
probably crazy.
I think I had like 12 carries for like 314 my senior year.
Of course you did. I'm
and
not
it was
surprised.
like 4 touchdowns.
Bro, the man said he'd been learning the same playbook since the 5th grade. Man.
I know. That was like one of the first things we talked about.
Yeah.
And I needed to hear that, though, because it all made sense.
It all made sense from that point. I'm like, oh, these guys were just on another level at this point.
Now, I will say, shout out to a guy who gets unrecognized, Coach Corey. Everybody cares what exactly what I'm talking about. Lower school guy, everybody cares tell you. If Coach Corey never coached with JT, Coach JT, Curtis is never what Curtis is. Coach Corey's responsible for developing all those guys when they were young, man. Old guy, and I think he's probably in his 70s, 80s. He was there. My pops was there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Super. That's the guy behind Curtis, and everybody tell you that.
Yeah.
Without him, Curtis ain't Curtis, man.
All right, let's do a couple more. Did he enjoy ruining my night? Go down.
Yeah, it sounded like he did. He had a great.
Yeah, 100% did. Of course I did.
Well, we answered that question.
Answered that.
Matt Wilson. Yeah.
Tech, hate to say it, but
Matt,
Tech.
we answered that. All right, let's go.
Damn, you was right.
Oh yeah, that's a good question. Hey, where the fuck is that last name Guggenheim? I call him Guggenheim, but people actually think your last name's Guggenheim because I've said it so much. And honestly, bro, like I don't think I'll ever stop saying it. But yeah, where's the last name Guggenheim come from?
Dude,
like,
so it's German.
Okay,
I learned that from them because I asked maybe a couple of years ago. Is German
full German?
Yeah, full
Okay.
German. And it's weird the dynamics. On my pop's side, they're all German, and my mom's side's all Honduran. So I'm German and Honduran.
Whoa.
Yeah, crazy dynamics.
You Herman?
Yeah,
Herman.
exactly.
Herman.
Wow.
Might as well call himself Herman Guggenheim. So
But
yeah,
everybody's from New Orleans.
Kenner. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Everybody's from Kenner.
It just goes to show you, like, because if you listen to my dad's dad, you know, he's first of all he looks like an Indian. He looks like Squanto. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm dead ass serious. And he sounds, you know, we sound like we like New York and like a lot of mixture. I don't know the history, but we all must have just came on a boat from somewhere,
I'm
dude.
sure that's what all happened too, man.
Like, yeah, like, because people always ask me, they're like, hey, where's it come from? I'm like, dude, I don't know, man, but you guys see my grandpa. He look like Squanto. He sound like you from New York. They don't teach about Squanto no more, I don't think.
No, bro.
I don't know why they
Squanto,
stopped, bro. That's a good lesson, man.
Squanto, bro.
Let's see. I'm looking for a good one. What's your 40 time? Okay, we'll do that one.
So I will say high school shocked some people. I ran low 4.5 in high school.
That's
crazy.
strong. That's strong as garlic.
Crazy.
It's like for as big as you're big.
So high school, that's what I ran at about 210. Now that I'm a little bit older, I hope I could still get there. But I guess we'll see. I haven't probably ran a 40 since then, and I don't think I want to.
Yeah.
Are y'all gonna have a pro day or anything?
So yeah, we do have a pro day after the season. We do it at the Saints facility. So basically,
Damn,
cool.
Is it open to the public?
It is, dude. When it
You have
comes,
to check that out.
Hey,
y'all need to come check it out.
Yeah.
Y'all really, you know what? You know I do seriously. When y'all need to peep the Nicholls schedule and come to Thibodeau, man.
Okay,
Hook y'all up in the suites and all.
I'm
bro.
down.
Dude. I'm so.
I don't even need to be in this. I want to
Dude.
be in the Gen Pop.
Dude, for real.
Yeah.
Hook you up with some good people, some good tailgating people.
Yeah.
Pop tailgates every game, bro.
Yeah, no,
Seriously.
I'm down 100%.
Dude,
So
so for real, y'all need to come.
who else y'all play for the?
I gotta look at the home schedule. Pull up the home schedule. I think I'll tell you what's a good one.
Man, if y'all got a game
Yeah,
next
let's see.
Saturday, please.
Dude,
'Cause-
we're not home until like 3 weeks from now. Northwest Stephen
Yeah,
F.
McNeese.
McNeese would be a good
Yeah.
one too. They got the
Southeastern.
McDowell kid. He's the number 2 QB in FCS
Stephen F.
right now.
Austin,
Oh, yeah.
they got a good team, huh?
Southeastern's always lit, but that's a Thursday night game.
shit, that might be better.
I'm about to say that might be better.
That might be-
that might be the
that
one.
Thursday game might be better.
Hey, when I
man.
tell you lit, like nothing like it.
Hey,
That's a rivalry game.
Rivalry,
and I know for a fact I ain't got to
Dude,
work.
let's do it. I'm
I
serious.
know for
Yeah,
a
I'm
fact
down.
I
I'm
ain't
in
gotta work.
100%.
Thursday,
What's the
November
date?
27th.
Yeah.
21st. 21st.
Dude, gotta do it. Put it in
Saints
the
ain't.
calendar.
Just make sure real quick. Make sure because you already know how they do this
Yeah,
shit.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, Thursday night
Watch.
game with the
Yeah.
Saints. Yeah.
Actually, it's right behind. Let me see. What's the date?
The 21st, November.
Bye week, baby.
Good. Let's go.
Bye week? Saints got a bye week.
Yeah, I'm
Bye
there.
week.
Yeah, we all there. Welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously, send me the list of the people.
Dude,
I'll get
that's
y'all
fire.
Tickets, set y'all
1,
up with the
2,
right
3.
people.
Let's do
There it
it.
is.
Yeah.
Serious.
Well, you know.
Tickets being will call.
And that's gonna be the. I love
That's the
picking up tickets
tiebreaker.
and will call, dude. That is so nostalgic, and it still happened. Like we did a podcast with the tag team champion for the AEW wrestler
really?
Ricky Starks. He's from New
yeah.
Orleans. He's going to the WWE.
Yeah.
Well, he was like, "Yeah, I'll leave some tickets at will call," and I was like, "Man, that means I don't know where the tickets are gonna be. You
Yeah,
just got to
yeah.
go pick them up."
Yeah.
And I love that feeling. We went and picked them up, dude. We were first row.
Really?
Dude, I'll never forget this moment. Shout out Ricky Starks. Literally, I get goosebumps even talking about it. I'm a huge wrestling fan my whole life. I mean, I was watching.
Big WWE, you're like TNT guy.
Dude, let me tell you something. I was sitting in front of the TV watching WWF. This is before it was WWE. I
got some WWE stories for you.
yeah. So, and he said, he goes, yeah, pick him up at will call. Well, we go there. It's like 4 of us, 5 of us, something like that. Pick up the tickets. Dude, we first row, ringside. Not only are we watching all these wrestlers, RVD's there. Chris Jericho's there. Mr. Jericho. Ass is there. I'm like, dude, this is crazy. Yeah. They all like shaking hands. I look behind me. It's Gypsy Rose.
No way, huh?
Dude, and I'm like, this is crazy. I don't want my back against Gypsy Rose. You know, like, but it was I met her boyfriend at the time. She wanted to break it out with me and him are still friends.
Really?
Trying to get him on the podcast. We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, for real.
You know, so
dude, I grew up WWE, obviously big John Cena fan.
Okay.
But like growing up, I had every action figure you think of.
Gotcha.
Had every belt. Dude, I was so dedicated to the belts. Had the $1 million belt. Ted DiBiase.
Ted DiBiase.
Then I even had when Cena came out when he was it JBL, I think he beat, or maybe Orlando Brown. Went for the USA, the spinning one.
Yeah, that's where he changed it to the spinning one.
I still got the spinning one at the crib. And I even got it for all the action figures too.
Okay.
So I got it for myself and the action. Dude,
I mean, that whole action figure time in your life as a kid, you got to live that.
Oh, what? I still got it in the box. I got to pull it out every once in a while.
Dude, my dad had to come have a talk with me I was around 13, 14. I was still slapping the action figures. And my dad had to come over the shoulder. He's like, hey, son. He's like, look, you got to stop playing with that. I mean, it's just like you've reached the age.
Yeah.
You know, I would have been 21 slapping things around, dude. You know,
then you get to get the cage with the Hell in a Cell, build that, and then you get mad because you build it, and then it just falls apart.
Yeah, I had the hot dog stand. I was hitting them with hot dogs, all kinds of shit, man.
Making them fall on the
some of the best memories
all.
of my life, dude. It was crazy.
Oh, bro.
Don't get me started on wrestling because we'll go on for an hour about that. All right, last question. Let's pick a good one. What's it like invented?
It's so many. It's like, can we pick a good one?
Yeah, like look at Tyler's. Like, dude, people are excited about this podcast, bro.
Awesome,
like,
bro.
Seriously, bro. Who is his coolest teammate? What was it like? Big Dick and LSU's defense. What do you consider joining? These guys are trying to NIL you to LSU. All right, let's just go with Leonard Washington because it seems like he's really committed. So let's give it to him.
It's like a full novel.
Ask him how it felt to have his best game of the year versus LSU, and if he would do college football over again, would he do it differently, or did he love his time at smaller school like Nicholls State and being a big contributor, or a lot of oars? Would he have gone to the best school that offered?
Yeah, that's a solid question. I will say, if I had to do it all over again, I think I would do exactly what I did. I really do. Because my best offer coming out of high school was Army. So going there, it showed me so much about myself.
What's some other schools that?
So I was recruited by a lot of schools, but I only had Nicholls offer me, Lamar.
Oh, yeah.
You had Colgate, which I don't know if Colgate, Ivy League school, would play in the Patriot League.
Yeah.
And then Army. That was my 4. Had Tulane come on late. A lot of PWOs, but I didn't want to have the burden of paying for college, you know?
Yeah.
So if I do it again, I'd do the exact same thing because I tell every kid, like, how do you pass up a chance to go to a military school? It's already hard as heck to get into it.
Right.
So being like with football and everything, kind of, I'm saying that it is an easier way to get into those types of schools. So, like, you got to go do it just to say you did it.
Yeah.
Because if I would have never did it, if I would have said, you know what, I'm not going to Army, not doing that, I'd always live with the, man, like, what if I did?
Yeah.
You know? So it's cool I did that. And then, look, Thibodaux's been a great city to me. It's been awesome. I enjoy the FCS level because I played with guys, group of guys who were good players in high school, and they went to the big schools, and it didn't just pan out for them how they wanted to.
Gotcha.
And I don't know if I would want to do that, you know?
Yeah,
I don't know if I look, and I'm a team player, but I don't know if I'd want to sit behind a guy for 2 years.
You like to play football.
Yeah. I just want to play, man. And the type of guy I am, the type of player, the type of person I am, Thibodeaux fits me perfect.
Yeah.
It really does. Like, bunch of old heads who's like, man, I remember when I used to run the ball like that. Like, that's what it is, you know? Like, so guys like that can talk to you at the game and just, like, looking back on it. And I try not to look at accolades, but, like, let's be honest, we're all human. Like, of course, I'm looking up some stats and all, seeing where I'm at. So, like, just the career I've had there, like, right now, second all-time leading rusher in school history, like, just all that stuff just kind of, I feel like, gelled everything all together.
And the way that you get rewarded on a big stage like that.
Yeah, it was just like,
it's like that didn't just happen
right.
out of coincidence. that was God, bro.
Yeah, it was
like
it was awesome, man. It was just icing on the cake, and it was just a relief.
Yeah,
you know, like man, like because look, everybody asks themselves. They get to a point in their career where like, man, like should I still be doing this?
Right.
Like, is this really for me? Like, man, I'm at an FCS school. Like, man, should I try to go bigger? Should I not? In nowadays world, you know. So now it was just so rewarding that, you know, starting off the senior year, like you start off that fast, that hot, and then get to move up, get to say that's when I broke the third all-time leading rush, was against LSU. So like, just a cool moment.
And after that game, think about this. And I was thinking about this that night. I was like, dude, I'm looking through all these comments and shit. Like, not one LSU fan had a bad thing to say about you.
Which is lucky. I think that's
pretty
good.
That.
Like, for real.
Like, that never happens, dude. Everybody was like, damn, bro, you a baller. Like, you know, they were just like all nice shit, you know?
And then some of the people that know me, but they're LSU diehard fans, they said people was cussing them out in the stands because they're pulling for LSU, but when I start running, they jumping up, screaming and yelling. And they're like, dude, what are you doing? You're wearing LSU stuff. I'm like, they're like, man, I know that guy. Like, so it's just cool, man, because like a lot of people, especially like the Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Kenner, that whole metro area, they all know the high school football guys. So, like, it was cool just to, you know, pay homage to all that and just kind of seal the deal. It was cool.
I mean, dude, unbiasedly, like, never had met you, never talked to you, just watching football, I hopped on and bought a jersey. That's awesome. How much I love an underdog, dude. Like, I really like, I just don't even care, like, what team it is. Like, if you're an underdog and you come out like that, bro, like, you're going to win fans over.
Yeah, yes. It was awesome. And then, like I said, everybody just hit me up. And then when you posted everything, I was like, oh, I'm here from, like I said, I'm here from aunts and uncles. I ain't heard from them in years, bro. I'm like, all right, like, good talking to you. Trying to talk to me for 20 minutes, trying to catch me up on their life. Like, all right, dude, like, go ahead.
I ain't seen you since 2012.
Exactly. Like for real. Last time you came was my baptism. Like, come on, man.
I've had people hit me up, like, for shit like that. And I just try to explain it to them, man. This is crazy what you're doing. Like, I had somebody hit me up one time. They're like, hey, can you get me in touch with Camellia? I need to get them. I need to get, like, wholesale on RYB. I said, motherfucker. I said, call him up.
I gotta ask though, who you deal with River Parish though?
Brother Fromaya.
Really?
Yeah.
So Danny Wimp I don't know if that is. His wife's dad owns River Parish, QB at Curtis.
Wait, I had to have met him. I mean, I've been dealing with River Parish for years.
Bigger guy.
Okay, maybe I didn't. I really only deal with brother. Yeah,
I believe it, dude. So he was actually the QB for the New Orleans Voodoo.
Okay.
Arena football.
His name sounds so familiar. I mean, I'd hate to see this and I met him.
Before, was it Paxton Lynch at Memphis?
Oh.
Dude, he held all the records at Memphis for passing yards and everything.
Paxton Lynch.
Yep.
Hey, pull him up real quick.
Who's it?
Just so I can see him.
Danny Wimp Dude, he held all the records for the passing
Well, because Brother Fromaya roomed with Whitworth at LSU.
Yeah. Andrew Whitworth?
Yeah, at LSU.
That's him right there.
Okay, yeah. All right. I remember. I've never met this dude personally. Yeah.
He's married to brother's sister.
Okay. Yeah, brother told me about him. That's okay, yeah.
Uh-huh. New Orleans Voodoo quarterback. And it's ironic because you're like, oh, Curtis QB, triple option guy, and then he has all the passing records and touchdown records at Memphis until Paxton Lynch.
That is crazy.
Wild.
How did that work out?
I don't know. Just
yeah.
Duke could play. I watched some film on him like when I was in high school. They pull up some stuff with some old guys, and I was like, bro, why can't I be like Danny Wimp? You know?
How long ago was this? Like 10 years ago, maybe 15?
Gotta be 15. I was little. I just remember going to the games and I used to run into the padded walls and thought I was the baddest dude in the world.
Dude, I'm telling you, that, the brass.
What?
Yeah, and then of course the Zephyrs. I mean, I was going to Zephyrs games when literally there was probably 17 people in there.
Oh, dude, I was happy when they used to give out the balls with the little Zephyrs mascot on it, bro.
I still got one. I brought two things from Katrina. One of them is a baseball bat that I got from Minute Maid in 03 at the All-Star game. Yeah. Because we lost everything in Katrina. But I pulled that out when we were gutting the house out. I pulled that bat out. And then I pulled two balls out. Pause. I pulled two balls out.
Slide.
And one was a Zephyrs ball that me and my boy Frankie, like, we were signing like Roger Clemens. We were just kids. We're going to sign it like Roger Clemens. And the other ball was the ball that I caught from Vladimir Guerrero at the All-Star game in 03. Really? Yeah, it's completely destroyed, but I still have it. Yeah, it's crazy.
From Vlad, that's a Hall of Fame.
You want to hear that story real quick? So he was warming up and he hits a ground ball. This is Vlad Sr.
Yeah.
Vlad Senior hit at everything. I don't care if the ball was like
bouncy scooping that thing out.
Yeah, yeah, he hit at everything. And he hit a grounder. It was one of them balls, like outside. He hit a grounder. Tim Hudson is like warming up on the side. He's pitched for the A's. And he's like a relief pitcher. He picks up the ball. He looks into the crowd. Dude, he looks right at me, throws me the ball.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, this can't be true. Because I always thought, I was like, dude, to catch a baseball at a baseball game, bro, it's so like.
That's rare.
It's rare.
In the moment.
Yeah, it's just rare. But I'll never forget that, dude. And so when Vlad Jr. came out, I was like, dude, this is going to be my favorite baseball player. Because I loved Vlad Sr. That was one of my favorite ones.
Big Derek Jeter guy growing up, bro.
Yeah.
Mr. October. Just.
Well, my grandpa put me on the Yankees.
Oh,
he loved the Yankees. Still does. Still watches them. And now it's hard because with the internet, you tell somebody you're a Yankees fan, bro.
Bandwagon.
Yeah. Yep, it's over with.
Bro, they eat you up on the internet. But I've been watching since they had Mariano Rivera,
Jason Giambi, Hideki
Matsui.
Yeah. People forget about all the Robinson Cano.
I mean, just their pitches alone.
Andy Pettit.
Andy Pettit.
Oh
my God.
Andy Pettit. I'm Jabba Chamberlain.
Yep, Jabba Chamberlain.
Remember that name?
Yeah.
Oh.
Jabba Chamberlain.
I mean, even going into CC Sabathia and all them dudes. I mean, they've always had good names, man. Trying to think of some more that they had. Oh, Aaron Boone. When he hit that, when Pedro pushed Don Zimmer down and shit, like
Jose Posada.
Yeah, Posada.
Little switch hitter.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. That's good times.
Nick
Swisher.
Matt Damon.
I love Nick Swisher.
Not Matt Damon.
Johnny Damon.
Yeah, Johnny Damon. He came to the Yankees after the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. All right. Well, hey, y'all got anything else? What we at time wise?
Hour 25.
Yeah, we right at it.
Hour 25.
That's when editing gets tough after an hour 30. We gotta shut this bitch down in 5 minutes, dude. Hey, go to back to Twitter real quick. I just want to make sure we didn't miss anything.
I think that was it. I can go back up.
Okay. Because they had I don't want to miss a good question. Is a lot of them are just trolling, you know? Is the museum named after them?
I mean, my question would be, who's the best player you played against in college so far? That
I got
a
question after that.
Who's the best guy? He's like, yeah, this guy is crazy.
Okay, I got two guys for you.
Yeah.
One, Isaiah Chambers.
McNeese.
The end. Was really good. He played in the XFL for a little bit, or the USFL, one of them.
What was his build like? He was like a pass, like
he was
speed
a straight
rusher?
pass rusher, big guy, like super twitchy.
Yeah.
And then the other one was Anna Bellecci. Number 8 for linebacker UIW. Was a dog. I hated playing against this cat.
Wait, what is UIW?
University of Incarnate Word.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha.
Anna Bellecci, or I think I'm saying it right. Super cool guy. Like one of those guys, like talk to after the game. Like it's my guy. Like we talk all the time on the side. Like, man, won't you come transfer to Nichols? Won't you come transfer to UIW? Yeah. Like
you spelling that wrong, probably.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you
put UIW linebacker number 8. That probably come right.
Hey,
up.
would you is the XFL even around anymore?
They combined with the USFL.
Oh, that's right.
And it's half and half now. And like the XFL champ plays against the USFL.
Oh, that's right. Would you do that?
Won't be opposed to it.
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
I ain't gonna lie, bro.
I mean,
You'd cut up. Hey, you could cut up. You could cut up in that league, bro. Like
you're in the right scheme.
Yeah. You could cut up in that shit.
So the cool thing, I'm saying the cool thing. So I've had scouts always come through Nicholls and all for NFL. So the biggest thing now is everybody wants me to play fullback.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, why don't you gain like 25 pounds, play fullback? And I'm like,
how tall is Juicinich for San Francisco?
I think he's like 6 foot probably.
Okay.
I'm not 6 foot, but I could put some boosters in my shoes.
Hey, fullbacks are kind of making, and even if it's not like a traditional fullback,
it's like utility, man.
Yeah.
Almost like utility. So yeah, but it was crazy because my sophomore year, dude, like I said, I love food at heart. My sophomore year, I played almost 240, bro.
Oh, wow.
Dude, my sophomore year, I was 236.
Oh, wow.
And then I cut. No, that was actually last year, my junior year. Last year.
Yeah.
I was 236, and I'm like, bro.
Huge.
Let's cut some weight, huh? I was like, so dude, now I'm down to like 215.
What do you, I mean, what are some other fullbacks in the NFL like that are getting
Patrick
some usage?
Richard.
Oh, Richard.
For the Ravens.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day. What was it? Zach Line for the Saints.
Oh yeah, we had a few. Jed
Carney.
Mike Carney,
bro.
Dude, let me tell you something about Mike Carney. Saints Dallas prime time. This is in 06. And Mike Carney scored 3 touchdowns. Yeah. Dude, I couldn't believe it, dude. It was a legendary.
Mike Carney, bro.
Yeah.
Forgot about him.
Oh, Mike Tolbert, he was one of them.
Yeah.
Marcel Reese. Vontae Leach, yeah. Man, these are
Is it one of the Watt brothers, a fullback?
Yeah, Derek Watt.
Yeah.
Derek Watt.
Wait, go back up real quick. Oh, Jed Collins, I remember him for the Saints.
Was that Green Bay Packer full John Kuhn?
Man, Zonka. Dude, these are legends.
Yeah.
These are legends.
So I think that'd be kind of cool though. Like,
think about Lorenzo Neal. I mean, dude, he blocked for Deuce, and then he went and blocked for LaDainian Tomlinson.
Yeah. LT.
You want to talk about a legend.
For real.
They don't even talk about LaDainian Tomlinson like they should.
I know, for real.
John Kuhn, Green Bay, you remember him. It really comes down to you got to have a really good offense that knows how to utilize their players with the fullback.
100%. And I wouldn't be opposed to the whole I'm saying the Taysom Hill because obviously people until was like, oh bro, Taysom Hill because
you got some Taysom Hill-ish shit to you.
Nowhere near as fast as him. Let's just get that straight.
No, I understand, but
I love just being back there and running.
The way that you don't waste no time going forward kind of makes up for whatever
100%,
speed. You know,
100%.
Think about it, bro. They caught you in that run at the very end, but they didn't catch you.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Everybody's like, man, if they had 5 more yards, you'll come. But they didn't.
But they didn't. I think that's to do with just how straight you go, bro. Yeah. It's crazy. Greg Jones. I mean, dude, we had some great fullbacks at that time. Richie Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I said that's all the fullbacks I know.
I remember all these dudes, bro. I'm looking at all these names right now. But Mike Allstott was the one. That was who... he really put they started handing him the ball off straight up.
Yeah, that's what they said. Is he a fullback or a running back?
Yeah. He started as a fullback, I believe.
Yeah. Peyton Hillis too. Remember
Peyton Hillis?
Peyton Hillis that one.
Put him cover a Madden.
Yeah.
Was it 12?
Madden 12.
Madden 12.
Damn, my favorite Madden. I ain't gonna lie.
Madden 12.
Madden 12.
Yeah, I was in college when that came out. Yeah,
I'm just happy they finally brought NCAA back, man. It sucks that we're not in it.
I was about to say, how does that feel?
It's tough. And look.
You would have took the $500 though, huh?
Oh,
yeah.
Did it for
free copy. Yeah, I was about to say.
Took it for a free copy and to be in the game. Yeah. Now, my rating probably been a 70, but
I'm in that bit. Yeah.
Well, we take it from there. You know what I'm saying? We take a 70 and we gonna you be at 90 in 2 years.
We got it.
If you don't think that I would have had Guggenheim on the Dynasty by now, trust me, bro, I would have done pin.
Would have been cool because what game were you in? You were in the Sega Genesis.
Stop it. You were in Tecmo?
Yeah.
That was Tech? Was that Tecmo?
I don't remember. We still got the Sega. He was in Sega Genesis, bro.
Yeah.
The last name and everything was in there.
Yeah. Said I was good for 5 every time.
Hey, Sega Genesis, that was a big deal back then, man. You had a Sega Genesis.
Forget about that,
bro. You were doing all right if you had a Sega Genesis, dude. That was the Sega Genesis where they had the biker game and you could hit the other biker with a chain.
Dude, remember they had Sonic on
Sonic.
Thing, bro?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was a good time, man. Tecmo, bro. My dad and my uncle, they used to fist fight over that game. I used to watch them fist fight over Tecmo football. Yeah, it was crazy.
Character development.
Dude, it was crazy, bro. It was crazy. All right, dude, let's wrap it up, man. Yeah. Hey, pleasure and honor, dude.
Awesome, bro.
Seriously, bro. Thank you so much, man. This was as fun as I thought it would be. Yeah. Just bullshitting.
Yeah.
Just shooting the shit. You want to shout anything out while you?
Dude, man, look, appreciate y'all having me. I already shout out my Shaw Bear insurance people. That's my guys. But look, man, it's awesome talking to you guys. Loved every minute of it, just talking ball. I love that stuff. Talking about life.
Yep.
Yeah. People take that stuff for granted a lot of times, man, when you look back and reminisce on stuff.
Absolutely.
So super cool to do that kind of stuff with y'all. And I'm looking forward to y'all coming to Southeast.
We coming.
For sure.
Hook y'all up with the right people. Make sure y'all got the right food. Y'all going to gain at least 10 pounds. So,
yeah, that's cool. Give me an itinerary like we at Disney World.
Oh, 100%. I'll tell you each spot, what time to be there, when to leave. I know Stale Crack came on your show. He always cooking out there.
Oh, really?
Oh, dude. I guess I can admit this.
He's a trip.
Bruh, I will say, tried the Infinity Barrel whiskey.
Oh, you did try it?
Oh, yeah.
That's the ones that he mixes all the different types?
Yes, all the types. Oh, yeah, he brought me one before the game Saturday. I took a little swig, give me a little
Come
chest
on.
on my hair.
Hey.
Get me going.
Hey.
Dude, shout out
Infinity,
to-
what's he called? Infinity Barrel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That dude had us choked out,
bro.
dude.
Smack the wee wee.
And what's great, dude, so we knew him before he became Stale Cracker because he hunts on the property behind us in Macomb.
Oh, okay.
So we knew him before he even became famous. So then one day I remember he was on the phone, he was like, bro, Justin, I got to ask you, like, is this you, man? Like, and it just kind of how it all happened, bro.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't know what to think because, I'd only seen him. And look, for me to get I don't do a lot of TikTok.
Yeah.
Like, I'm on there, I got to put my shit on there, whatever. But I don't look through it a lot.
Right.
But, I always said, man, this dude to me was funny.
Yeah.
Stale Cracker. Like, I just thought it was funny. So when he came here, I didn't really know what to expect, but, like, I felt good about it. Dude, we shot the shit with that dude.
Oh, bro.
Like, we started drinking beer. By the end, he's sitting there drinking vodka out the cup. And I'm like, bro, we cooking.
Yeah. So cool dude, man. But I tell you, his whiskey, bro.
Yeah.
Wow, bro, and all this stuff. Man.
I want to go shoot a gator with that dude.
Oh,
bro.
well, you need to, bro.
Yeah,
for real.
I want to go shoot a gator with that dude. But no, he was a trip, man. All right, bro.
Appreciate you, though, bro.
Guggenheimer to the casket drops, man. This
know
has been a pleasure and an honor, bro.
Yeah.
We signing off. We back. It's been a little while. It took 2 months to get another podcast in, but we all had shit going on. Yeah, I'm not sorry or anything like that. It just is what it is.
When that jersey comes in, man, let me know. I'll come.
Well, we're gonna.
Yep.
Yeah. We're going to put it right next to the Paris Giambi.
I'm about to say, bro, that's some good company, man.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and so that Peyton is signed by Tracy Porter.
Cool, really?
Yeah, because Tracy Porter came here. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so. And that was a big deal because he had never been on a podcast.
Really?
I like to get guests that have never been on podcasts.
Yeah.
Just because they don't know their life,
and
all that stuff. So that was a cool one. What's another one we did where they had never been on? Antonio Daniels.
I'm about to say AD, Larry Nance. I'm about to say the list. Nick Underhill. Nick
Underhill.
Matter of fact, the Nick Underhill year anniversary is tomorrow.
Yeah.
The first
we just
episode we
started
ever
this podcast
did.
a year ago. I
A
think
year
this
ago.
is number 15 or 14.
It's been a minute. I lost track.
Well, we had a T-Bob one, but we lost it. We lost the audio file, so we had to scrap it. It was a 3-hour podcast.
Cool.
Oh,
might have
dude,
been the
we were
best
mess.
one.
Cool.
Yeah, we were a
That's
mess.
awesome getting company like with those two guys.
Yeah,
Doing
dude.
something,
Nah,
man.
bro. Hey, bro. Like I said,
Finally
man.
made it in life.
Bro, I love.
I got the jersey at the spirit
That's what I'm
quarters.
saying, bro.
I love Louisiana and I love underdog, dude. That's just what it is, bro. So, all right, we out of here, man.
Ain't like I said, we came from New Orleans. Had some fights or slung some iron in Baton Rouge, you recall it. Lee Lucas doing life, he left when I was 11. Had a job I did not like and started narcotic selling. I do for me, I feed myself, for cool not willing to help me. We